Hello again. Now is the last week of June 2011. I had the luck of visiting a local nursery that specializes in bonsai stocks, and I was able to find these two Chinese Juniper seedlings. They were probably created from a cutting, but it's not very often that I can come across this. I mean, I can never see this in the regular nursery, only in the bonsai nursery. So I had to buy this, even though they're a little bit pricey, but well, not too expensive. But for a seedling of this size, they were a little bit pricey. But the good point here is that since these were these were raised for bonsai, they were taken care of as a bonsai plant. So at least the root ball is fairly small, not like my regular 1-gallon container. So doing the root reduction should be fairly easy. This is an interesting subject to work on. Oops. And as you can see, it's time to repot this. I mean, they've been in this pot for very long. I'm totally root bound. Now is June, in the middle of summer. It's probably not the best time to repot, but considering that I would not do a lot of a root reduction, and I'm going to do very minimal, top pruning, so I think it will still do good, even though this is not the best time. The ideal time will be in spring or in the fall. But right now, so I have two of them. So one of them, I think I'm just gonna grow it on my rock garden, just to plant it on the ground. This one, and let it grow for many years. This is a kind of slow growing plant, so if you want it to reach 30-inch size, that's gonna take a while. So I'm gonna right now just probably 8-inch. So I'm just gonna grow this on the ground. The one left here, kind of interesting. Very straight trunk here and has nice side branches. I think I'm just gonna make it a miniature bonsai for now. I can always plant it on the ground when I get bored with it. The first thing to do is reduce the width and the height of this plant. This is going to be miniature size. So this side branch is way too long. Since I'm going to do an informal upright, this is too long. Probably just going to cut it over here. Okay, there we go. And it's also too tall. I mean, so you want to pick a place where it will be the new top. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm gonna be conservative. I'm gonna cut a little bit taller. This might be good. And we can just start by this. I probably will keep the lower branches, but at the beginning of the branch they should be bare. There should be no leaves. So it would look more like a branch, a major branch. So just clean those up. Anything growing, feel free to use scissors. You might have read that it's better to use fingers to pinch. But yes, that will work for this little leaf needles. If you want to pinch this, you want to use your fingers. But when you're cutting these branches, it's just use scissors. Okay, and more or less, I've already decided that this is going to be the front, the face of the bonsai. So it's going to have nice branches, organized. This one is too low here. I just want to have a longer trunk at the base here, so I'm going to remove this one. So this one will start from the left, the first branch. On the left, on the right, there's one on the back, and then another one on the left, on the right. This one is sticking to the front. I might trim it or maybe wire it up so it becomes a new top. So naturally the ones in the back, this one's too long, so I had to reduce it. Same thing with this ones. So it should be very easy to do this. here near the top here, it looks kind of dense, a lot of things growing out here, so I'm just gonna clean it up so I can get a better view. I'm just gonna use my fingers and pinch out the needles so I can get a better view. Okay, so I decided that this won't be the new top. I'm just gonna trim it and make it smaller so it's actually a branch, one of the branches sticking, and this is gonna be the new top. So we can cut this off like this. Okay, and this one in the back, we had to thin it, and there's too many branches here. I can cut this off. I'm trying to decide which one. Which ones to keep. This one, of course. And there's also too many sticking out in the back. I mean, it's good to have some branches in the back. They add perspective, depth. But in this case, too many, and they're kind of long. So I'm just gonna cut this off. Okay, now for the pot selection, no kidding, my first instinct was this pot. It's kind of cute, and but it's just way too small. I mean, I think in proportion this pot is the best for this plant, but it's too small for the first pruning. I mean, since this is not the suitable time to do a lot of root pruning, I'm probably just going to remove a third of the root, 1/3. So leaving still, it will be a pretty big root ball. So for this size, so I'm going to have to choose a bigger pot. All for the health of the bonsai. Maybe this one. I think I'm gonna go for this one, but I have other choices like this one. They all work pretty good. This one's the biggest that I'm willing to go for. That's not bad either. It's just so nice to work on the material that is built for bonsai. Everything is already almost done for you. I mean, this root ball is incredibly small already, and pretty easy to rake out, and unlike my other video projects where you see I had to work with gallon-sized plants that were created for nursery, where I really had to do a lot of root pruning. But there's a disadvantage here. You can see, I think this is from a cutting, and a lot of times from a cutting, the root, how the root grows is not very balanced. They're all growing on the one side of the cutting, something like that. So they're not very well distributed. It's something you will have to try to improve. Like we're seeing here, I think it's mostly growing in the back of the trunk that I'm showing you. So here's the pot ready with some mesh and the wires. I put some little pebbles in the bottom just to prevent the soil from going out. And for the soil preparation, just very simple. I did some very fine soil mixed with some sand and some peat moss. Trying to create a well-draining soil that doesn't have huge particles, that would take a lot of space. So here's the plant. Just gonna tie it, try to place it right in the middle, and finally watering. And I like to use misting. Usually just mist, let the water settle, let the water get absorbed slowly, and then mist again. You repeat this process many times until you're sure that the water is well soaked. And here's just an example of how to watch out when you water. Sometimes you feel like you water enough, but actually you see this soil inside actually is dry. So you have to be careful for that. So I think at this point this is a very fine soil, fine and dry soil. It actually works as a very good water repellent. So I'm just gonna keep misting it, let it soak, and maybe even just put this pot in a tray, fill with some water so the water can go from bottom up. And there, this is what I had to end up doing to make sure that this new pot gets adequate water. I submerged it in a bowl, half filled with the water. The water should not be taller than the pot itself, otherwise it will make all the soil float out of the pot. So this is my formal upright style. Still needs some more detailing and more refining, but I can always do that later. I actually had to soak this in water for about hour to hour and a half just to make sure that it's well watered. As I explained before, and you can know that it's well watered by just lifting the pot. You can tell the weight before water and after water just by feeling the weight. Keep in mind, I did all this work under full sun. Even though the juniper likes full sun, during transplanting it's best to do it in the shade. And also after you transplant it, repot it, it's better to keep it in the shade for a couple weeks at least, to a month, before really moving it out to receive full sunlight again. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. This is it, and I'll post updates of this little tree in the future. I know when compare this juniper with a lot of work of Gray Master, this is a joke. This is a very small experiment of mine, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this tree will continue to grow in my collection. Hopefully in the future it will become a better specimen. But for now, I'm going to enjoy this miniature style bonsai, the Shimpaku Juniper. Thank you.